I think it also helped other students who are just getting started with the chapter to see what an activity could look like off campus as well. And it really got them interested in joining the chapters as well. And then we invite them to do some community and hospital activities with us. So we've had students from SOTA chapters who, especially during April, Donate Life Month, a lot of the hospitals in our service area will set up tables for Donate Life Month. And we had several the students from SOTA chapters who were helping us run those tables, and they did a fantastic job. And it just got them more interested too in promoting donation, not just on campus. We also have had some the SOTA chapter students do some social media interviews with us, and we've done some posts on them to share with our followers, and those posts do really well. I think there's a funny commercial out there right now with Liberty Mutual, young people insurance, young people sells for advertising. But I can tell you, the posts that we've had that feature students from SOTA chapters really do well. People do like to see these young people helping their community, spreading the word, helping donation. So that's been really great. And then for students who have a personal connection to donation, and a lot of them do, some have been speakers at just different presentations we've been involved with, schools or hospital programs. And we also, something that we like to offer is we will go to their campus and kind of do a photo shoot, just as a way to introduce us, get to know them. It might not be an event that they're promoting donation on campus, but we kind of just get some fun photos of them on campus with SOTA gear, New England Donor Services gear, Donate Life gear. They can use those photos in different way for their own recruitment for their chapters. We use them on our channels. And then we like to invite them to our office for a tour and a presentation. So we haven't done this in a little bit now, but we'll be opening up the office, for larger meetings again soon. And this is a really great opportunity. We find students love this. They can come off campus. We can organize a program where they can tour the facility. We have a private operating room suite, the call center, of course, a donor memorial out front of our office, which is a really nice place to take photos. A lot of the students have, if they don't have a personal connection to donation, they might be going into nursing, biology, public health. Those are really common fields that we've seen in New England from students that are part of SOTA chapters. And so having them come to our office for a tour is really interesting for them. And we will put together a presentation so they can hear from folks from different departments at our organization, the clinical folks, as well as the public affairs. So those are just some of the things that we've been doing and have gone really well with the students that we're working with. And we've noticed with Northeastern and UMass Lowell, who are the two active groups we have right now, SOTA groups that we have right now, they just get bigger and more involved each year. So it's been wonderful working with them. And so we're just looking forward to recruiting some more chapters, some more students. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jen. We're excited to see the existing SOTA chapters in your service area grow, as well as hopefully start some new ones. I really love that UMass Lowell participates in the blanket making activity at NEDS, because I was a SOTA student, but I was part of the original SOTA chapter at Washington University in St. Louis. So I made blankets for Mid-America Transplant. And that was an activity that we went to every single semester at the offices, and we made blankets. And it was always like my favorite volunteer activity as a student. But then after I graduated, my partner's father passed away, and he went through the process of being a donor, and we received a blanket from his father. So we have a blanket at our house that volunteers made for donor families. And I just remember it's like a very full circle moment from that being my favorite volunteer activity as a student to actually like having a donor blanket of my own was super exciting, or not, that's not the right word, full circle and like very meaningful for sure. Perfect. Thank you again, Jen. And last but not least, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. LaToya Bishop from Legacy of Hope in Alabama to tell us a little bit more about how she engages the chapters in her service area.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh, look at that. Okay, we have the pictures up. So my name is Dr. LaToya Bishop from Legacy of Hope. I do serve as a multicultural educator, and I think I'm going to echo what everyone said about how they're getting their chapters to be actively involved. So I'll just change it up a little bit and go to a different angle of what we do here at Legacy of Hope, and that's more so on the support role. Several pictures that you see here, this is one of our very first chapters here in Alabama, our Chelsea High School chapter, the first chapter, and I think they're more active. And then also we have a Mountain Brook chapter, and I think those are rival schools. So it's kind of like, oh, this chapter's doing this. What is this chapter's going to do? But we actually serve more so on the support. So this particular event was actually sponsored by the Chelsea Soda chapter. And we had the opportunity to speak at the beginning of the school year to all of the principals in the Shelby County school system. The way that this partnership came about is that their advisor was actually very connected to donations. She actually worked at Legacy of Hope at one point in time, and she was talking to her students, and they was like, we should do this. So that's how this chapter was formed. But this particular event, for us to actually speak to all of the principals, and this is high school, elementary principals here in the Shelby County area, is because their the superintendent took an active interest, and they did an interview with him, and it was telling about what soda was about, also what they do as health science students. So then it was like, hey, this is very interesting. We need to let everyone know about it. So hence the reason why we were approached to actually speak to all the principals in Shelby County. So this was, I think it was leftover donuts. I think they were fresh donuts, but it was the idea of leftover donuts for what was it, donuts for donors or donors for donuts. I think I'm probably interchanging the terms out, but we actually had an opportunity to speak. I think it was about 150 principals, assistant principals, and some of their executive staff in the administrative area that we talked about donation. The young lady that's standing up in the brown on the first picture, she's actually the wife to the actual superintendent for Shelby County. However, she was also the past principal at Chelsea High School. So she basically said, we need to let everyone know about this. So it's basically those connections that the students have, and we provide support. So this was their very first speaking event, and it was like, Dr. Bishop, can you come and speak to our teachers? Because of course, we want to be able to get this into more schools within the state of Alabama. So for Shelby County, we actually have 2 chapters in Shelby County. And one of the great things about this particular chapter is that most of the founders of the soda chapter in Chelsea, as well as Mountain Brook, they're graduating and they're going to colleges. So therefore, guess what? We have a chapter now that's being established at the University of Alabama, because we have connections with people that were in school, they were in high school soda chapters, now wanting to do more chapters on a university level. In addition to that, the person that was in charge of the Alabama soda chapter, the University of Alabama soda chapter, she was actually one of our volunteers or our ambassadors. So she had a connection to donation as well. But I do foresee with all of our high school students that with them going to college, that we will be getting a lot more applications in, because they want to continue that process of donation. So we basically serve as a support. We have given pizza parties to both chapters to say thank you so much for, like someone said earlier, doing our job for us. So we basically give them, if they call us, hey, we need some information, we're there, can you come and speak to our students? We're there as well too, but it's basically them doing all of the work for us, and we're in a supportive role. So we've also, here at Legacy of Hope, we've reached out to our employees and say, hey, you have kids that are in high school or in college. Why don't you consider having a conversation with them about donation? And I do believe, Nicole, that there's an application coming in now from one of our co-workers' daughters that go to Hoover High School that will be starting a soda chapter. So not only do we engage our volunteers, we engage our soda chapters, we are engaging our employees, co-workers, to have a conversation with connections to their old high schools, or a conversation with their kids to see whether or not that'd be something they'll be interested in doing. So again, we provide more so of a support, but we're there for whatever they need. And I promise you, all of them have me on speed dial, and they're very, 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 very active on social media. I think the first 2 slides that you showed earlier was our soda chapter from Mountain Brook, and we had the World Games here in Birmingham, and they had on their shirts, and they took a picture. So they're very active on social media. We spotlight them in our newsletters. We follow them, and we repost their posts that they're doing as well too. And they also tag us in a lot of things to make sure that we are aware of what's going on. So we definitely have a beautiful line of communication for events that they're doing. And also they do support us, but I wanted to make sure that we support them 122%. So hopefully that's good.
It's wonderful. The chapters in your service area always blow me away, between like this event at Chelsea High School and then Oak Mountain High School. They've done amazing things. Oak Mountain High School registered 100 people in 1 weekend alone. So they're doing amazing work, and that I don't think would be possible without your support, Dr. Bishop. So thank you. Okay. Well, that concludes our program today, but I did want to spend the last few minutes accepting any questions that anybody might have. So feel free to unmute yourself